Am I live? Where are my glasses? Am I live? Am I live? Child. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. I'm in here. I have to clean up my office. I had to get up and see what's going on. I see Daddy Dearest Metcalf is running his mouth. I see why the judge did a gag order to save his behind because he knew he was ignorant. He knew his friend was ignorant, gonna blow their cover. But let me tell you, this case is ripe for appeal. I'm watching everything going on in Texas. Every judge that's on the bench, because we definitely need some overall. They talk about Fonnie Willis. They want to focus on Fonnie, but it looks like we need to focus on the entire judicial system because you know what, it's very slow. This is a systemic problem that's across the United States, but the deep South. Um, I was wondering why so many of us, God has so many of us move to the South. It was like our parents migrated from the South to the North, but it seemed like we came back to the South. And now I see why, because, Dixieland, you know, folks want to still, you know, act backwards. And the folks that have been living under the oppression of the system don't really know they being oppressed. You know what I'm saying? Because you can go places in Mississippi where people, it looks like from back in the 1920s. You know what I'm saying? So now I see why. I see why. I see why. Because they've been doing too much. Too much. And see, black folks got over there and they saw what the white folks were doing. They saw that white folks were stealing money. They saw white folks were having sex in their chambers. They saw white folks, instead of taking what was good and learning what was good, a lot of these black folks got into a position they didn't know what to do. You gotta understand, some of these people are first and second generation lawyers and first generation judges. But see, when you go somewhere and you get drunk with the power and the position, and people big your head up, and let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you honest and good truth. Most people have not mentally matured past high school and college. We see it, and it's scary to me because these are people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You expect them to be elders. You expect for them to be parting with wisdom. You expect them to be setting the example. You expect them to not be caught up in scandals and scandals after scandal. You know what, Fonnie Willis, I just hope it's just not true about Fonnie and Warnock. I Fonnie been on her city girl game, man. Fonnie been just that's deep. That's deep. Because Fonnie never talks about her mother. She always talks about her daddy. Daddy, daddy. I never call my father. I ain't even call my own father daddy. I sure won't be calling no other man a daddy, especially somebody I'm sleeping with. Daddy, daddy. Dr. Heavenly used to do that. Daddy, daddy. My parents had me young, so my father was a hoe. So my father told me don't call him, don't call him dad. I said okay, I'll call you Ace. Okay. So I've been calling him Ace. Then one day, I'm calling him saying Ace, Ace, and he was like, call me dad. Now at this time I'm about 10 or 11 years old, right? Call me dad, and I looked at him like, who? I knew he was my father, but I said, look, you told me call you Ace. I'm calling you Ace. Now you don't want me to call you Ace. Just like the Jackson called Joseph. Ace, you wanted me to call you Ace. Your name is Ace. I'm going to call you Ace. Now, before he went to Vietnam, it was Dad. Dad. you know. But when he went to Vietnam and he came back, it was Ace. I act way older than my father. Child, I ran things. Me and my mama ran things. My father was a my father mind his business. My father like, look, I'm gonna put food on the table, clothes on your back, give you the best education. You figure out the rest. Okay, he ain't that type of parent. Now Diane, on the other hand, I called him out. I said Diane. On the other hand, Diane was like, Diane was all in the business until her last breath, okay? Diane stayed in the business, okay? Diane kept trying to control everything, and I let her too much. But anyway, we're 18 years apart. We're like peers. That was my sister. That was my mother. I respect. That was my friend. And the reason why her death was so devastating to me, I didn't know this because we depended so much on each other emotionally. I didn't have to. My mother has five sisters and six brothers. She had six sisters. One died as a baby. The one right before her, number 10. She was number 11. My mother, we never had to go outside our home for friends. I had over 80 first cousins. I have over 300 cousins right now because we were fruitful and we multiplied. I have over 300 cousins right now. I can't even sit down. I have to sit down. I'm going to try and count all of them because I don't know all of them. I don't. And and I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, oh my God. Well, anyway, he told me call him dad, but one thing my parents taught me was good character. My mother said you cute and everything, but you be smart in them books. You know what I'm saying? My mother said you're beautiful. You're number one. Love yourself. Or Diane gave me my high self-esteem. You can't. Alpha Kappa Alpha didn't do anything for me. I came to do something for Alpha Kappa Alpha because it's just an organization, and an organization is only as good as its membership. You ask my friends. My friends will tell you because I was initially supposed to pledge Delta. I told them the AKAs need me. That's what I told them. I told all my friends. So I've always had a good high self-esteem, but that's what a good parent would do. You see, my kids don't bully other people. And my daughter was on her job and she came and talked to me because I talked to my kid. She was telling me, how they try to gang. She played the recording them ganging up on one teacher. I told her if she ever do that again, I will come and beat her tail. She adult now. She got her master's, everything. She's teaching. I said, if you do that again, if I ever, I said, I will come up there to that school. You don't do that to that teacher. I said, you apologize to her. You don't just run those reindeer games with them other. Nah, I don't play that. You didn't like it when it was done to you as a child. You don't do that as an adult. You got to stand on business. Now, my daughter dates a white guy, right? I have not met his parents. She don't want me to meet his parents. She told me grandpa called her Shaquita. My daughter's name is Christina. Where did he get Shaquita from? I told her I'm going to get grandpa. And I'm going to get Nick's parents for not stepping to grandpa. No, 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 no. So now she won't let me meet the white side of the family. But I'm going to meet them. I'm going to meet them. Um, yeah, as soon as I'm going to get that number. And I told Nick, I want to meet your parents. Tell you, oh, they busy. I said that I don't care. They ain't too busy. They can take an hour out their time to meet me. My daughter's scared for me to meet her. I said, what you scared I'm going to do? Start a civil war? I don't play. I don't play with no folks. I don't play. You're in my camera. See, you got something to say? He be trying to regulate. He just want to let the because I told him people in my DMs. He can't regulate the shit. Oh yeah. Oh no. He want to clarify the step grand. They should have checked him. I don't care. I know, and you agree with that. See. I'm gonna start a civil war. I'm just gonna tell Grandpa her name is Christina. That's all. He know damn well her name ain't Shaquita. Anyway, that's still my daughter. I carried her for 9 months. That's my fault. You're not gonna disrespect her. He just want to regulate. He just want y'all fellas to know. Okay, okay. I'm I'm online. Don't don't do that. So anyway, let's see. What else I had to say? Oh, Metcalf. Metcalf has lost in life. And I don't understand why these white men are mad. I don't understand. The tables had been in your benefit. Nobody has held them accountable. Nobody holds them accountable. They have been running amok. No one, even how is a prosecutor still a prosecutor and he have sexual charges against him? But they put Bill Cosby in jail for consensual sex with people. You know, in the Jewish faith, they have bar mitzvahs and bar mitzvahs, and I think it's around age 13. They because 13 become the age of accountability or 12 or something like that. I think it's 12, 13. And they from that point on, they're responsible for what they learn about God from 13. 13, because that's the turning point. 13, you enter your teens. That teen period is a cushion period. Okay? It's a cushion period. And that's when that's kind of get you bridged. They push the age of consent up to 18, right? Really should be pushed up to 21. I'm being honest with you. 21. But anyway, um, yeah, so that's when you become responsible. So we see really, but mentally, your brain, the development of your brain is not really fully developed, I think, to 25, right? So that's where we need behavioral science to come in. So let's talk about the case, okay? Because these are angry white men. The judge was a white man. The prosecutor was a white man. The defense attorney was a white man. And I talked to my mentor, and when she has time, because she's very busy, she's a judge and everything. Um, Very famous person. She represents celebrity clients, smart woman, kind woman. Um, um, I don't understand why white men are angry. They're like the most angriest people, and they're so tone. When I say it's not all of them, I'm talking about the racist ones, the ones that feel like for the last year under Biden. Let me tell you, really, when they lost it was when Obama was president. That's when I saw like it really started getting bad. Like they became obsessed over Obama. Even President Donnie. President Donnie has been very upset. And black folks like Letitia James, and Fonnie Willis, and the judge in D.C., and Alvin, the prosecutor, and they. I was mad because they allowed themselves to be used by the Democratic Party. Now, the Democratic Party didn't put their white boys on Donnie. They put the black people because we're naturally warriors. We're just naturally we're gonna go. We just natural. It's just in our genes, and so they put them up there, dangled a little money in front of. The only one I respected was Marilyn Mosby. She was the only one I respect. And Marilyn, if Donnie gives you a pardon, take it. Joe didn't give it to you. Joe didn't give you a pardon. If Donnie gives you a pardon, take it. Don't listen to these stupid black folks. Some of them are mentally ill. When you can't when you can't accept that there's some people gonna like Donnie. But I think the problem is we have just two extremes. There's no balance. There's gotta be a balancing act here. We have too many people on the right and we have the people on the right, right? I think that's the conservative half. Though these Negroes, I'm just talking about Negroes. White folks, y'all can sit somewhere else and listen. The Negroes on that side, they okay until they get to the point where they want to minimize the atrocity and the after effects of racism, the residual effects of racism. They don't want to. They're not telling the Jews because they know if they tell them Caucasian Jews, them German Jews, if they tell them to call them, say stop talking about the Holocaust, that's victimization. Stop giving money, stop doing. If they did that, them Jews would be on them like white on rice. Why can't we take that behavior from the Jews? The Jews and other groups make sure their money circulate in their community 8 to 12 times, right? Before it goes out to anybody else. Why didn't we take over that behaviors? The self-hatred is so ingrained, and they feel like if I don't make them feel guilty, if I don't make the white guilt, if I could just don't say anything about the white guilt, they would accept me. But Muhammad Ali still was always true. He says, still a nigga. It's too ingrained. It's too ingrained. You have to take overt action against it. What's the action? Be excellent. Be the best. I like when Martin Luther King said, be the best sweet streeper. Whatever you do. If you paint like Michelangelo, paint wherever you are in life. Be good at it. Be your best. Have your best character. Be who you say you are. Don't build a brand. Don't build a reputation. Build your character. Then we had the people on the left that don't want no accountability. They just want to just practice black supremacy over their own people. They hate black people more than just as much as the white people, racist white people hate. You have white people who have white guilt that's just overly feeling sorry. You know what I'm saying? They overdo it. But the people on the left don't give no F's about slavery, residual effects, or even their own personal racist behavior. There's no balancing. There's no balancing. There's no extreme. There shouldn't be those kind. We need people in the middle. We need people that don't respect persons, power, titles, who have not bowed to the god of capitalism. We need them in the middle who treat people with dignity, who punish those who need to be punished, whether their fathers are who's who in the game. A lot of people you see, we learned about scandals. We learned it's so much cheating and people getting places where they are because of their name, because of their family pedigree. So we have this angry white man syndrome, and I'm trying to figure out and see the reason why the elite don't like the poor whites that drink Mountain Dew all day, rotting out their teeth, meth heads, low vibrational whites. They don't like them because they're not they disprove that that white is superior. They disprove it. So they the evidence that white is not superior. So they hate them, they despise them, but they use them to go. That's who they draft or that's who they encourage to go to the war. To go to war. The rich send their kids to West Point, right? But they go and get these little 18-year-olds, sign them up, and put them in the service. They'll go fight in the war, come back, and don't want to help them. If Donnie loved y'all so much, he would have gotten rid. The first thing he would have got rid of was the IRS. And Donnie started finding out that hey, it's more white people on Social Security. So let's make sure nobody's getting Social Security but the people that's supposed to. That's what Donnie's doing because it's more whites on Social. Believe me, that would have been the first program destroyed if there were more blacks on welfare. They want y'all to believe that. Yeah, they want y'all to believe that. That would have been the first program. Food stamps would have been taken out. That would have been the first one. Yeah, I don't let them play them rain. They believe that stupid stuff. They don't want the truth. But it's not our place to educate them. Their own people should educate them. There are people out there, okay, that are straighten them. Let them straighten them out. That's their problem. Just if they don't, just know that. Just know, don't run up on certain blacks. You cannot run up on. I'm sorry. It's just not. They're going to defend themselves by any means necessary. They're not gonna let you whoop their ass. They're not gonna let you just pull out your gun and shoot them. Keep playing reindeer games. And it's not all white men, ain't all white men, because some of them got sense enough to feel that way, but keep their mouth shut. They're just on the job. They don't hire you. They don't pay you the proper salary. We can prove all this. Let's prove every you know what um every corporation should publicly have to produce their salaries, not the names, but the salaries and the race and gender of their employees. Banks should be required to put the interest rate along with the race and gender of the debtor, the mortgagor, right? I get that mixed up. Mortgagee and mortgagor. The person holding the mortgage, okay, the borrower. I'm sorry, that's it. The borrower. Put the and we can prove a lot of this. You give us higher interest rates. Where we live, you classify that as danger. Y'all all in on it. It's all. It's not. It's your whole world. Don't even worry about building those underground bunkers. Don't even waste your money because they're gonna become your tomb. You're not gonna live. Don't even waste your time. You cannot run from God's wrath. You can repent and change your evil ways, but you can't run from God's. There's a reckoning going on. And he's starting with the people. Let me tell you, if you're not being chastised and you doing the fuck shit, uh, God don't like you. He chastises those he loves. I'm done.